We greet you on Mother's Day 2011 from Dallas, Texas, and the American Airlines Center, and it's Game 4 of the Western Conference semifinal, and a feel of history in the air as the Dallas Mavericks try to sweep the Los Angeles Lakers and close the curtain on the Hall of Fame head coaching career of Phil Jackson. Good afternoon, everybody, with Hall of Famer Hubie Brown and Heather Cox. I'm Mike Tirico. Hubie, the Mavericks are the team that has been poised. They are the team that has closed, and then they have a chance to close out the Lakers. Leading the way, Dirk Nowitzki, a Hall of Famer who might be playing his best ever basketball.
Mike, and it's happening at both ends of the court. Sure, he's averaging 28 points, and he's shooting 56% from the field. But he's averaging 10 rebounds, and then he's 7 for 10 in threes, and on the line, 93%. Terrific numbers.
The Los Angeles Lakers try to erase history. 98-0. That's the record for the teams that have been down 0-3 in a playoff series. But if anyone can do it, Phil Jackson, Kobe Bryant, and company can. What do you expect from them today?
Look, we're talking about 3 straight finals, 2 championships. It's a franchise that's noted for its excellence and pride. I expect a war in the paint and on the boards by their front court people. And then Kobe Bryant, throughout 15 years, the bigger the pressure of the game, the bigger the results.
He leads off today's starting lineups, brought to you by Taco Bell, and Ron Artest is back in the Laker lineup after being suspended for Game 3. Derek Fisher, Andrew Bynum, and the struggling Pau Gasol along as well. And for the Mavericks, looking to be the first to the NBA Final Four, Deshaun Stevenson and Jason Kidd, Sean Marion, and Tyson Chandler's defense up front, joining Dirk Nowitzki. For more on what might be the finale for Phil, here's Heather Cox.
Mike, moments ago in the locker room, Phil Jackson asked his team to stay in the moment. He said, I expect you to play hard, but do so with less emotion. Yet even Jackson admitted that's difficult with all that's on the line. Phil said it started to get very personal last night when 4 of his 5 children flew in. They went to sushi and started reminiscing, sharing stories, and reflecting on all the memories. And the Lakers always draw a crowd, but today in pregame, an unprecedented amount of media. Mike, all signs that there is no doubt this isn't just any other Game 4 of a playoff series.
It is indeed, Heather, and it's that sense here in Dallas. Hey, look, there's nothing like sweeping one of the best teams with one of the best coaches and one of the best players ever. So Mavericks history on the line here today as well, and we'll let you enjoy the tip here in Big D. Tyson Chandler, Andrew Bynum, the jump controlled by the Lakers. Spanish language version of the game presented by ESPN Deportes. To access it, just use the SAP function on your remote. Let's see the facilitator meter for Kobe. Is he shooting or getting others involved? He's fouled right out of the gate by Deshaun Stevenson.
Mike, as you look back over the 3 games, just remember that the Lakers are only scoring 89 points a game in this series. During the year, 101. So we're talking they're 12-point shot. Also, the fact that they are struggling at the 3-point line. They're only shooting 19%. That has to change today also.
Hard to believe, Hubie. 3 games. Kobe Bryant, 1 layup, no dunks. They have shut the paint off. He's not driving. Is it his ankle? Nobody will say that the ankle is bothering him. Is the Mavs defense a combination? Whatever it is, he's not getting to the basket and getting the easy baskets. Shocking to see in 3 games of the playoffs for Kobe.
Well, I agree with you 100%, Mike. And it's also a fact that in the last quarter, they are averaging less than 20 points a quarter. Now, that is, when you think of the firepower that they have, this is a major problem.
Well, so is this. Kobe picks up his first foul for the forearm, defending Jason Kidd. Kobe picked up 2 early in the first quarter of Game 3, changed a bit of the tenor of that opening quarter.
Kobe just has to be smart here. You know that Jason Kidd very seldom is going to take you all the way into the paint. You know that he wants to just spot up, play off, and look for the 3.
Deshaun Stevenson opens the game with a 3. He hit 3 of those in Game 2. The 11th-year guy straight out of high school in Georgia.
Well, you know, that's his game, and that's what he's noted for. So the closeout has got to be strong and force him to dribble the ball.
Chandler and Bynum tied up. Bynum went right down. There was no call. Here's Bryant working away from the lane. knocks it down.
Well, I like what he did there, mainly because he saw the double team coming from the opposite side, and he faded for that bank shot.
Nowitzki. Derek Fisher on the rebound. Fisher struggling offensively in this series, has scored 21 points in 3 games.
Well, the fast break hasn't been there, and also the second chance points.
Gasol working inside with that very poor field goal percentage relative to the regular season. Sean Marion. Rebound Powell for Los Angeles.
Well, we have seen that very seldom in the series. On the break, Dallas has just been outstanding. They can finish, and especially Marion.
Kobe from the top is off the mark, rebounded by Marion. So Bryant involved early in the shooting here for LA. Jason Kidd for 3. And the Mavericks have opened up 1 of 4.
Anytime that there's a two-man game, whether it's Jason Terry and Nowitzki or whether it is Kidd, you have to play and get back to the man when Nowitzki gets double-teamed and passes back on a spot-up.
Ron Artest suspended game 2 for the clothesline on J.J. Barea at the end of the game. He's off the mark.
Yeah, I'd like to see the Lakers right now. Look, let's work the painted area. Come on. Why settle for these long jump shots with the time down? You know you have the advantage height-wise and then also on the board. So please, don't rely on the jumper.
Chandler inside. Bynum picks up the foul.
A lot of credit has got to go to the front court people of the Dallas team. And right here is one of them. Now, Tyson Chandler has been excellent, not only defensively, shot blocking and rebounding, but then also when Haywood comes in. Then you add Dirk Nowitzki to the mix, and you have 3 7-footers who are not only scoring the basketball when they get opportunities, shooting a high percentage, but also rebounding the ball.
Stevenson shot a 3. Chandler with a 3-point play. The Mavericks are up 3. 2.5 into game 4. Lakers trying to force a game 5. It would be in Los Angeles in a couple of nights. They come down to double Bynum, who was so good early on in game 3.
Bad spacing. He had 4 guys in one area.
Fisher draws the contact. He's able to draw the foul against a disgruntled Sean Marion.
Bynum has such an advantage here in this game when they throw into him, mainly because he's playing extremely well. He's shooting 57%. He's getting you 16 points a game. So when he throws the ball back out because he's not comfortable and he reposts, you've got to clear the area and let him step into the paint so that the pass can come back in. Instead, we just had a traffic jam there, negating a return pass.
One more for Fisher. All the conversation about Phil Jackson today, but what a job Rick Carlisle has done. Played at a Final Four in Virginia, was part of the Celtics' '86 NBA championship team, has coached the Pistons and the Pacers to the Eastern Conference Championship. Chance here with a win in the next 4 games to take a 3rd different team to the conference finals.
Well, come on, he's done a great job, Mike. 3 straight years, 50, 55, and 57 wins. But the big thing here, they don't care about the wins. They want to see you advance and get to the finals.
Marion short on the floater. And here's Kobe in the open floor for LA. Dallas has been very good getting back on defense throughout this series. Let's see Gasol. Boy, his confidence can use one to go, and he's 0 for 2 so far.
Well, we're talking about a guy who's through the season always shoots 53 to 56%. He's struggling with only a 43% going for him in this classic.
And struggling on this end as well, although Nowitzki misses the layup. He's missed his first 2 shots, and a slow start to this one. Bryant with his 2nd field goal. So 5 of the LA 7 for Kobe.
I like the fact that Kobe is involved early. Also in the transition game, when they isolate him on the right side of the court, he's looking to go. And I like that he's looking to get into the paint, because that, if he can't score it, he's going to get an opportunity to get on the line. Oh, Stevenson just got away by knocking Fisher down.
And somewhere Rasheed Wallace yells, "Ball don't lie." No foul, no 3 goes in, right? I agree with you. It should have been a foul there. Yeah. There's been some physical contact here early on. It's a playoff series. It's game 4. The guys sensing what the officials will call. Bynum going to the basket on Chandler. Hubie, this is the best Andrew Bynum has looked, especially the 21 and 10 in game 3.
Think of his age. Come on, the guy's not even 25 years old. The size is there. The weight is there. Plus the fact that he's injury-free. He's got great talent.
Bynum, 23, made his debut 6 years ago. Another Dallas turnover, and back come the Lakers.
Big thing with the Lakers now in a transition game, you can't miss the big guys when they run down and post up.
Stevenson, the primary defense to start the game, as Kobe finds Gasol. Kobe was waiting for the shot to go up, and we have 3 seconds of too much passing. Look at Kobe, very frustrated with the rest of the Lakers for their inability to get the quick shot up there.
Well, there's a situation, Mike, where you go one-on-one from the left side of the floor. Then when the defense rotates over and picks you out, if you throw the ball to a 7-foot guy who's uncomfortable, he's not going to force a three. He's going to now try to dribble in, take the double team, and kick out.
One future Hall of Famer to another, Kid to Nowitzki.
Now that's a situation where when you're playing a guy like Nowitzki and he's in the corner and the pass comes out, you got to get that forearm on him because he's going to move without the ball.
Kobe aggressive with the offense, 4th shot, 7th point, and LA's up 3.
Mike, he can get that anytime he wants. Now we know that Jason Kidd's an excellent defender. He's been on the all-defensive team 9 times. The big thing, though, is Kobe's bigger, and he just shoots over the top of him in the paint.
We call a flop on Gasol, and Nowitzki has his first field goal of the afternoon. Dirk Nowitzki, who has QB scored 28, 24, and 32 in the first 3 games of this series.
Well, you're not going to get that call, not when a guy is on fire the way that Nowitzki has been throughout the first 3 games.
Kobe got trapped in the air. Marion working on Fisher.
I like Marion's game. I mean, he's reinvented himself. That's a word by Rick Carlisle. He's a true small forward. He's defending, he's rebounding the ball for him, giving him great stats on the glass, but then he fills the lane. So he'll take on 1-on-2 on the break in the paint.
5 to shoot. Artest will put up a 3. Poor offense last few minutes in the half court for the Lakers. Kidd, here comes Marion busting down the lane.
Well, you got to pay attention, Mike. You got to pay attention to this guy. He fills the lane. So Ron Artest, you know, you can't go to sleep now in the backcourt. You've got to change ends and get down the floor and match up.
Last couple of baskets for Sean Marion. Hubie said he reinvented himself, was playing an undersized power forward in Phoenix with Stoudemire and Nash in his natural 3 spot here with Dallas. Couple of hoops to help the Mavericks up 3 early on.
ESPN's presentation of the NBA playoffs on ABC. Brought to you by Warner Brothers Pictures' The Hangover Part 2 in theaters May 26th. And Lipitor.
Down 3, this could be it for Phil Jackson. Has said this is his last season with the Lakers. As you look at the resume, no one has a better winning percentage regular season, more playoff wins, conference titles, or championships. And we talked to Phil a short time ago about the emotions coming into this game today.
Well, it's very exciting to be in a game like this in a lot of ways because it looms so large if a team is defeated. You know, to go out in a situation like this as a coach is really difficult, and to go out with a team that's trying to three-peat is also very difficult for these players. A lot of them know that maybe it's the last chance they'll have to get back at this spot. And of course, Magic yesterday said something about the team being blown up, which I think is speculation still, but it still impacts the team.
Interesting thoughts as Phil reacts to what Magic Johnson said yesterday in our pregame. The alley-oop for Chandler. The lob feed from Sean Marion. An 8-0 run for Dallas, and they lead here by 5.
Well, when Dallas just ran that pick and roll at the foul line area, if you're going to step up, meaning the defensive center, then the roll man, Chandler, is one of the best in the league. Great hands and a terrific finisher.
Deshaun Stevenson switches off Kobe. It's Kidd defending now, and Bryant knocks down the shot. Kobe 4 of 5. He has 9 points. We'll get back to the Phil Jackson comment here in a moment. Jason Kidd launches a 3. A 3-point shot that has been fine-tuned right before the playoffs. A little session with Dirk Nowitzki. It's a heck of a personal coach. 6-point Maverick lead.
Come on, Jason Kidd's third of
Yes.
all time in three-point makes, so you have to honor it. And mainly, you're not going to bluff him. He's going to look for that shot, so you have to go out and close out hard.
Fisher from the outside knocks down a deep two. He had a foot on the line. 19-15 Dallas. They have made their last 6 shots.
Well, we told you now, the main problem in this series has been the lack of conversion of the three-point game by the Lakers. They're only shooting 19%.
Marion, no, and a good job by Bynum on the glass for the rebound.
Now you say, well, what's 19%? Well, they're attempting 17 a game, only making 3. And at the other end, Dallas has made 29 threes.
Stevenson hurt his foot as he went down there, but able to get up after the missed shot. He was grabbing at his left foot when he hit the deck. Keep an eye on Deshaun. Rebound Bryant for LA.
See, the Lakers, they don't bust out. Not this first unit. It's big and it's rather slow on guys up front.
Kobe able to get to the spot again, Hubie, and there's a lot of that. Rick Carlisle's going to stop it here. Bryant's taken 6 of their 14 shots.
And that's what we're talking about. Anytime that he's gotten into the painted area, he scored. And he just elevates right up over the top of Jason Kidd. There's nothing he can do about that.
11 points for Bryant here in the first quarter. For baseball's best record, the Phillies send Cole Hamels against the Braves on Sunday Night Baseball over on ESPN. And then tomorrow night, Josh Beckett goes for the Red Sox against the Twins. Sunday and Monday Night Baseball on ESPN. We're back here in Dallas and taking a look at today's Quest for the Ring, brought to you by the new release, Green Lantern. All the other series are 2-1. Oklahoma City on the road, trying to even that series on Monday over here in the West. Meantime, Boston getting that big Game 3, and Chicago trying to go up 3-1 against Atlanta. TNT has all those Game 4s coming up. Hubie, we heard the comments from Phil Jackson about the emotion of the day and just the comments that Magic made in the studio, and I understand Magic's point. Look, when Magic speaks about the Lakers, it holds a ton of weight. It'll be very interesting to see how the Lakers play today for the moment, or are they affected by the finality that could come if they don't win here today and get closed out.
Well, I think that Phil Jackson hit it right on the head by saying that he was surprised by the comment, mainly because I know myself as a coach, when you're coaching in a situation like this, you're down 0-3, your team you're noted, like we said, excellence, great pride. He has everything backed up. He's been in 13 championships with 11 rings. He's not thinking that this is going to be the last game. He's thinking that they're going to win, 3 in a row, force a Game 7, so that they're going to continue to move on.
So is everybody in that situation. And Magic was just speaking to the larger picture of what's going to happen going forward with the Lakers. Let's assume they don't reset history. And what is the course? And I thought Magic's point was also interesting as he got into the conversation and kind of alluded to it today. The bickering, the back and forth. We've seen it with Pau Gasol and Bynum in this series. Lakers need a togetherness effort. It's been very un-Laker-like to see this bickering outwardly the last couple of games.
I agree with that. And now that's the coaching staff has to take care of that.
Right.
All right. And they have to take care of that behind closed doors. All right. That's number one. Number two, you can talk about blowing up teams, etc., because the main players here for the Lakers are all under contract for a number of years. Then it comes down to, well, what are you getting in return for what you supposedly want to move, if it ever came to that? I don't want to think about it. I just want to think about Game 4 if I'm coaching this game.
And that's what they're thinking about. Jason Terry off the bench, knocks down the 3, and this has been a huge story in the series. The bench of the Mavericks, J.J. Barea, who's in, Jason Terry, Peja Stojakovic. At different times in this series, they've been difference makers.
Mike, there are 2 games that have been extremely close. Right now, Dallas is in a 2-3 zone. But the 3 ball has been a major difference. 29-10 in favor of Dallas in makes of the 3 ball. That's so many extra points.
It's 3-0 today. It's 4-0 today behind the line. Peja Stojakovic a 3.
Now, in Game 3 in that fourth quarter, we talk about Dirk Nowitzki getting 9 points, but Stojakovic came in, knocked in 3 threes, and had 11 points of the 32.
Dirk's over here on Kobe. Kobe wanted the ball. Odom didn't get it to him. Jason Terry has the pass deflected as Shannon Brown off the Laker bench is in.
Now, the bench play, as we know, has been dominant by the bench of the Dallas team. And they sit in that 2-3 zone. You have got to prove that you can get the ball into the paint hurt him in the paint and on second shots.
Good offensive rebound by Gasol, and Bryant, who spent the last 2 trips begging for the ball, missed the 3 but got the second chance because of the work of Gasol.
Yeah, because of the 2-3 zone, Mike, you can't settle with a lot of time on the shot clock for the long jump shots. You've proven in this series that you're struggling, all right, with the deep ball. So consequently, you've got to work the paint, and then all of a sudden things will open up for you for that 18-foot game.
Chandler inside, looking for the foul, doesn't get it. Advantage for LA with Shannon Brown.
Nice fake.
Fouled by Jason Terry from behind.
I like the fake there. You know that Gasol was in the left lane, but the defender made a move. Good fake there by Shannon Brown, and then taking it strong. Big thing for the Lakers now, they've got to make their foul shots. They're only shooting 72% in this series. Look at this, he hit that head fake, excellent. Got Stojakovic the move. The old story, if you're the defender, make the ball change direction.
Shannon Brown at the line gets one more. Brown and Blake, who checks in now. The other guys on that bench, Matt Barnes, have been outplayed in this series, Hubie, by the Dallas bench.
Well, the bench points have just been staggering, okay? Anytime that you say you're averaging 37 to 17, that's plus 20 points each night. They're getting a great contribution by their 4 men that they're rotating, meaning Dallas.
Usually bench points with both of these teams are skewed because of the great scoring presence of Odom for LA and Terry for Dallas, but you've got both, so it's negated a bit, except for that game with the suspension with Artest, Game 3. How about Barea? J.J. Barea, less than 6 feet, has come in and been an energy source at the point. Shot clock is off here at the end of the quarter.
Yeah, I like what they're doing. Come down the floor, waste some time in the backcourt, now set up. All right, set up here in your zone.
Blake tries to shoot over Haywood and misses. Odom beats the clock and puts up an air ball to end the quarter. Kobe Bryant was 6 of 8 for the Lakers. The rest of the Lakers were 2 of 11 in that opening quarter. And the Dallas Mavericks, trying to sweep the 2-time defending champions, have a 4-point lead. After quarter 1 of Game 4, the NBA on ABC.
Welcome back to Dallas, where the Mavs have a 4-point lead. Phil, in Game 3, Kobe had 1 layup, 1 free throw. Already much more aggressive. What did you tell him you need from him today?
Oh, I don't have to tell him anything. He knows what he has to do.
Moments ago, you had a heart-to-heart with Lamar Odom. Looked like you guys were quite animated. What is your message to Lamar?
Well, Lamar's getting confused with their matchup zone. He just has to move the ball. He's trying to dribble with it on the top of the floor.
Phil, thank you.
I think this would be the best time to wish Heather a happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day, Heather, to all the moms watching out there. Second quarter here in Dallas. Mavericks trying to sweep the Lakers and move to their 4th Western Conference Finals. They represented the West in the NBA Finals in 06. Lamar Odom out there hedging, picks up the foul. What are you seeing in that box score from the first, Hugh?
Well, the main thing has been the 3 ball. And when you look at Dallas, they already are 4 for 7 in threes. The Lakers 0 for 5. And you cannot overemphasize this stat. And then also the fact that you brought it out, Mike, when we went to break. Kobe Bryant is 6 for 8. The rest of the guys are 2 for 11. They've got to step up here. People have got to score the basketball.
Terry from out of the corner hits another 3. Jason Terry's hit both threes. He said yesterday he wants to finish his NBA career here with the Mavericks, now in his 12th year in the league. Steal by Stojakovic. Look at Peja go all the way, turning back the clock to the Sacramento days.
Now
they have tweaked that back that has been bothering him, Hubie, over the last couple of years.
Well, you can see, Mike, they're out there. They're being very aggressive. People say Dallas is a good defensive team. Come on. They're holding the Lakers, who average 101 a game, to 89 points in this series. Now, just here, that's a second steal on that side of the floor. And Peja, once he gets out in the open court, now you can see he's holding on to his back right there. Maybe a strain as he switched hands to lay it up with his right hand.
And Hubie, he looked over at the bench, and Rick Carlisle looked at him, and he told Rick during that replay, I'm okay. So he's going to hang in there for that. And Odom, who has struggled the last couple of minutes, comes out. Gasol right back in for the Lakers. Kobe on the bench.
Well, see right there, they showed you 2-3 zone, but they went through with the cutters. and you as a team have got to run your offense. And Phil Jackson, that's what he said to Odom. Stop trying to dribble the basketball and run what we told you to run. Stay in the triangle if that's how you're going to attack the zone or the matchup man-to-man.
The officials communicating to Rick Carlisle that they had the foul before travel. There was a travel, but the foul came first, and that's why Bynum is at the line. The foul on Stojakovic. Remind you, this series is going to continue, if necessary, in Los Angeles on Tuesday on TNT. Then Thursday we'll have a Game 6 if they come back here on ESPN, and Game 7 would be a week from today on ABC. And a lot of people with the Lakers say, hey, if the Lakers can get this game, and they've had a fourth quarter lead in Games 1 and Game 3, but have closed poorly, if they can win this game, they certainly can win Game 5 in LA, and then the pressure would be on the Mavericks in Game 6 here on Thursday night.
Right, Mike. Now that's great. That's great logic, and you're absolutely right. But they have got to close down this three-point game here because the three-point ball is giving Dallas a ton of confidence, and their spacing has been excellent.
It's on the sideline. Terry able to chase, 5 to shoot. Bynum's chasing Barea. Brendan Haywood couldn't catch, and they turn it over. Kobe came in at that last whistle. He's on the wing for the Lakers. Feed to Bynum. Puts it in. Go feed him. Why not? 6 points for Andrew.
Yeah, this is what we're looking for. We're looking for the transition game and then look inside first.
Bryant fell down. Peja finds Dirk.
Now, good move. See, that's patience. That's an established scorer who just had that shot. If he went up, it could have potentially, it might have been blocked. But instead, he gave the hesitation, waited for the man to go up and come down, and then he scores in your face.
Jason Terry has Kobe this time down. Kobe's off. Brendan Haywood, who does not have the stats to show, but has been a good presence in this series.
Mike, the thing which is surprising here is the lack of offensive rebounding by the Los Angeles Lakers.
How about Terry again? The flaps are down. The Jets 3 for 3 from 3.
The second unit, they give you a headache. Okay, there's no doubt about it. They play good defense. They give you the matchup zone. Sometimes they're man, sometimes they're playing zone. Then they're excellent in the open floor. 3 guys are excellent three-point shooters.
It is astonishing. 6 3-pointers to none. Plus 18 shooting the 3. The Dallas Mavericks repeating the script of the first 3 games. Trying to knock out the 2-time defending champs. Largest lead of the game belongs to the Mavs by 10.
ESPN's presentation of the NBA playoffs on ABC. Brought to you by McDonald's. I'm loving it.
Fortune and privilege makes you more sensitive about people that are not as fortunate. You know, the world is just really big, and there's a lot of people, and they're in need of help. They're in need of people that care about them. That's why you have to be proactive and make sure you make a difference. To me, it's really special to be in that position.
Well, it's not a good position for the Lakers right now. While we were gone in break, and Stewart's update, they have not sat down here in Dallas. Rick Carlisle implored the fans here to be as loud as the Portland fans were in the first round series. Were they ever the other night? And they're holding court here on Mother's Day. Steve Blake, a 3. Knocks it down, so that's a big hit off the bench, which hasn't done anything so far, Hubie, for LA.
Well, you got to look at it this way, Mike. Come on. That's the first field goal for the bench. They're now 1 for 3. They haven't had as many opportunities as the Dallas bench. Stojakovic and then Terry have 4 threes between them.
Barea again knocks it down. J.J. Barea, undrafted. All 5 years here with the Mavericks out of Northeastern. Born in Puerto Rico.
Okay, there you go. See, they faked going through that time, and they came right back in and matched up.
Gasol aggressively at Nowitzki, not even close. And Gasol continues his struggles, 0 of 3. How about 4 for 4 for Jason Terry from 3?
Oh, oh, my. This second unit is 8 for 9 from the floor.
Wow.
And they have 5 threes.
Phil Jackson taking another timeout. It's extraordinary to watch. A good team like the Lakers is leaving a great shooting team wide open again. For Dallas, all new ABC Tuesday. Dana Delaney's the star, the new must-watch series of the season, Body of Proof. 10 Eastern and Pacific, 9 Central, Tuesday right here on your ABC station. Down 12. Down 0-3 in the series. The two-time champs looking nothing like it right now.
Well, they can't make a shot, Mike. Outside of Kobe Bryant. Now Bynum has 2 field goals. Kobe Bryant has been on fire. The rest of the team is struggling. When you say Artest, Gasol, and Fisher are 1 for 9, you're in trouble.
Barea all the way home. And again, the second unit having a huge impact. And you want to say second unit for the Lakers, they're back with their starting 5 here now out of that last timeout. Artest barreling down the lane, and Ron gets on the board. His first field goal ends a 7-0 run.
Barea will keep his dribble. He'll get down in there, and then he'll pick out exactly what he wants. And the big thing is he can score the ball, short or long.
Got the switch. Nowitzki to Terry. He is 5 of 5 from behind the long line. How you doing, JT?
Excellent ball movement. They are stretching the court from side to side and doing a magnificent job. And the Lakers are getting outboarded. Very few offensive rebounds. They're shooting and missing, and they cannot get that second chance.
Stojakovic, another one! Timeout, LA. Are you kidding me? The Lakers have made 11 three-pointers in the series. The Mavericks have made 9 three-pointers in the first 17 and a half minutes of Game 4. Astonishing. The two-time defending champs in an 18-point hole facing elimination. Tries to rally the troops as the Lakers are just getting destroyed behind the line, Hubie.
Mike, just watch how they're taking advantage of the width of the court. Everything is drive into the middle, kick the ball to the corners. Now, Terry and Stojakovic have come in and made 7 out of 7 threes. But the penetration and then the kick and the ball movement around the perimeter has just been beautiful to watch. Then, when you say Stojakovic, Terry, and Barea, they have 29 points here. They're 11 for 12, and we still have 6 minutes to go in the second quarter.
Kobe, they want the foul as he got Barea in the face. Kobe gets the hoop. Bryant, 7 field goals. He has 15 of the LA 34.
Now, this has to come down to, come on, you've got to play your man. You cannot continue to get beat off a one-on-one or around the pick and roll at the top of the circle. The defense has got, if you're going to make a run at these people, you see right here, that's inexcusable. Once again, a guard beats the pick, the guy stepping out to help on the pick and roll. And once he gets by, there is no help because they have to play the 2 players in the corner.
Andrew Bynum climbs across the lane. No travel, no basket. Here's Barea on the push, 4 on 3.
Well, they've done a very nice job.
That's all they can do.
Dallas has done a very nice job, Mike, on double teaming, buying him down inside. Double team. Now keep an eye on Kobe right there. That should have been an offensive foul. Kobe definitely catches Barea, with that elbow. Then at the other end, this guy right here, he's a pest. He's been a pest throughout this series.
I love that guy.
Oh, come on. We all do. Right? The fact that in Game 2 in L.A., when he came in and gave him 10 points, did a terrific job, ignited the ball club, got him the lead, and then also enhanced the fact that they could get in the paint and to the glass.
Terry all confused as he took a 2 there. Gasol hit the deck. Haywood trips up over him. They untangle behind the play, and 4 on 4 it's Odom for the Lakers to make it a 16-point game.
Now, look, we all know that it's easy to say they've got to play better defense, but you have to button up here right now and stop complaining and stop looking at other people. The big thing right now is you got to dig in and play your man off the dribble and show that you can get them to run the clock down.
Artest is chasing Barea, and Ron picks up the foul. You, of course, remember what happened in Game 2 with the flagrant that was upgraded to a flagrant 2 and was the one-game suspension. Heather has more on J.J. Barea.
Well, look at J.J. Barea. There's a reason we all love him. He doesn't look like your prototypical NBA player. I mean, Ron Artest joked yesterday, what is he, about 5'2"? In fact, sometimes he told me he leaves road arenas to go out and see family and friends after a game. He can't get back into his own locker room because security doesn't recognize him. He said, sometimes it's a blessing. I don't have paparazzi following me, but come on, can I get a little respect here?
He just threw a lob for Brendan Haywood, and the foul was called.
Well, I like the matchup right here and what he's doing. Barea has Ron Artest on him, and he's wearing him out with the dribble and forcing him to play him in a number of areas. And that, at that time, was allowing Kobe Bryant then to play Stojakovic because he knows that Stojakovic is going to basically stay out at the perimeter. So Kobe can help and then get back on Stojakovic and save his energy. The matchups now are interesting to watch.
The foul was on Odom, and Lamar has 3. Stays in the game. Nowitzki takes him. Rebound by Fisher. Can the Lakers make a little push? Getting a few stops here. Fisher all the way to the basket, but didn't finish. And rebounded by Haywood for Dallas.
I like what we're seeing from Dallas. Now remember, their half-court defense is excellent, but their transition game. Once again, Stojakovic, you can't remember him when he played at Sacramento, one of the best three-point shooters in basketball, an excellent offensive player. And then this is just a great head fake. See, he sees the double coming off. He sees Fisher. He gives him the body fake, takes the contact.
Lakers over the limit. Dallas just 2 team fouls. QB, you talked about those 7 years in Sacramento, and Stojakovic scored 20-plus in 4 of those years. 3-time All-Star, and the three-pointers made behind Ray Allen and Reggie Miller. You have Jason Kidd, as we said before, and Peja, 3 and 4.
Well, he's
all-time list.
a great player in his country and for Yugoslavia, and then also the fact that he is, for Sacramento, an outstanding player. Now, they have taken a chance on him because we knew that he has had a bad back. But since he has come here, he has started 13 games. They like what they have seen down the stretch, and they have confidence in him because he is a great offensive player. Now, this stat is staggering. As he takes this foul shot, the Dallas bench has 31 points. The Lakers starters have 29.
Jason Terry, 15 of those 31. Barea over there. We have a whistle here with Jason Phillips after the free throw. I don't know if a delay of game was called, but it'll be Laker ball as they inbounded up 17. There are those startling numbers.
If you like basketball where you see good movement, you're seeing it today from Dallas. They are playing the width of the court, which is 50 feet, and they're forcing the Lakers to play the entire area. At the other end of the floor, the Laker movement is stagnant, and anytime they throw into the post, it's easy for Dallas to double the post, and that's why we've had limited scores.
Kobe short on the 3 and out of bounds. It'll belong to the Mavs, and that's some one-on-one basketball there. And now LA will extend its defense.
You hit it right on the head, Mike. It's one-on-one play, shoot and miss, no second shot. Here comes Dallas in transition.
Lakers have just 4 assists in the first 20 minutes of this game. Jason Terry finally misses after he hit his first 5 three-pointers, 4 of them coming here in the second quarter. NBA playoff record, by the way, for threes in a quarter, 6. Antoine Walker of the Celtics in 2002. And finally, Gasol's able to hit one after missing his first 3 shots.
Well, I like what Kobe did. Kobe was double-teamed hard on the left-hand side, and then what did he do? He threw the diagonal pass across court to force the defense to shift and move. And then once the defense moves, the pass goes right down into Gasol. The old story. It's not the first pass, it's the second pass out of the trap.
2-time defending champs. You can't never count them out especially the group that they have with, Kobe, Gasol, Bynum, and Lamar. I mean, these guys, there's no quit, and they have the best coach in the league.
They're the champions. Until we knock them off, they're
in professional team sports in a best-of-7 have come back from down 3-0, never in the NBA, but the Mavericks wanted to hear none of it when we asked them about it yesterday.
But we got to find a way to protect home and win this fourth game. You're talking about two-time defending champs. You can't never count them out, especially the group that they have with, Kobe, Gasol, Bynum, and Lamar. I mean, these guys, there's no quit, and they have the best coach in the league.
They're the champions. Until we knock them off, they're the champions. And you got to always respect the champions.
And Hubie, everywhere we went around Dallas last night, this morning, people are questioning, well, do you think the Lakers can come back? Most times in the city when it's 3-0, people are making their plans for the parade or the next round. Not here because of the history of the Mavericks and their failures in the past and the Lakers' presence as two-time defending champs.
Well, they deserve that respect. Anytime that you say you're in the finals 3 times back-to-back, that's difficult to do, and then you get the 2 rings. The big thing for them right now is, come on, you got to chip away. Oh, boy, what can I tell you?
A 10th three-pointer in the half, one shy of the NBA playoff record set by multiple teams, last done by Orlando 3 seasons ago.
For all you guys who love ball movement, that was their, think about this now, they have 22 field goals, they have 17 assists, great ball movement. The Lakers have 5 assists in this game.
Bynum can't even convert on a short one. Good defense. Jason Terry.
Well, they're playing tight, Mike. Everybody's playing tight here right now, for the Lakers. The other guys are just playing like it's a scrimmage.
Terry working inside. It's going to go the other way. Scott Foster's got a foul on Terry. His second.
Remember to tell you about this second unit now. They have just been doing a fantastic job. Peja now is 3 for 3 in threes. And when you think he's 3 for 3, Jason Terry's 5 for 6, that is a ton coming from 2 guys off the bench.
Matt Barnes coming to the table. I think Ron Artest kind of signaled he was needing to come out here for a second.
They keep pushing the post guy out of the triangle. They keep pushing him away from where he wants to set up.
It's going to be offensive interference, still in the cylinder. No basket, and it will be Dallas ball, and Artest does check out for Barnes.
Now that would have been an offensive score for them, which has been so rare in this first half.
Definitely touched it while it was back in the cylinder after the first touch, which was legal. So Barnes in here at the 2-minute mark, and the Lakers are down 18 points. Deflected, saved by Jason Kidd, still 14 on the shot. And blocked by Andrew Bynum. Hubie, we showed the teams that have been down 3-0 in playoff history. Kobe Bryant had a funny line. He said, well, they do it in hockey all the time, come back from down 3-0. Well, perhaps Kobe was a big fan of those 42 Maple Leafs or followed Chico Resch, Billy Smith, the goalies, and the 75 Islanders. It's only happened 3 times in hockey. Of course, it happened last year as the Flyers did it to the Bruins, and famously in baseball in 04 at the Red Sox over the Yankees, but never in the NBA. It's rare just to force a Game 7 when down 3-0. The Lakers have a huge mountain in the game and in the series. Mavs have missed their last 6, but LA not able to take advantage. On the turnover, here's Kidd.
5 defenders down in the painted area, taking away every passing angle.
And Nowitzki, who's been quiet here in this half, he only has 8 points. 20-point lead. Kobe, Jason Kidd was grabbing his shirt. The foul's called.
Now this is just a great block right there by Jason Kidd. At the other end of the floor, good ball movement once again. I'm really impressed here today. Dallas is moving the ball beautifully. They're getting the ball to their hot people. Dirk Nowitzki is not going to overplay or force himself into this game. He's going to keep rotating the ball for everyone else to get their shots. And you have to love that second unit.
The hard double on Kobe, ending up with a turnover. And here's Terry, 22. And why not that hard double on Kobe? He has as many field goals as the rest of the Lakers. Kobe has 7, the rest of the team has 7.
Well, anytime Kobe gets into the painted area since the first 5 or 6 minutes of this game, you're seeing 5 white shirts down in there protecting. They don't care if they throw the ball out, mainly because the Lakers have struggled with the 3 ball, and their outside shooting, if it's not a 3, is at low percentage.
Point lead for the Mavericks.
How about that pass? This is Dirk Nowitzki at his best this year. And not only the fact that he's scoring 28 a game in his air, he took that double team 10 feet to the left of the lane and made a pass to the opposite corner.
Cutting Barnes can't score. Out of bounds. Belongs to the Lakers. Shot clock is off. T-Mobile halftime report. Stuart Scott and company coming up. They're going to be talking about this NBA playoff record-tying 11 three-point performance by the Mavericks in this first half. Phil Jackson unhappy with Scott Foster trying to get a sub in. Was not whistled back in. Bryant working inside, loses it. Jason Kidd has it. It is 4-on-1. And Derek Fisher breaks it up.
Yeah, bad pass.
And the foul by Kidd is 3rd. So Jason Kidd picked up his 3rd with 3.3 to go. And it's going to give LA a couple of free throws as well.
You know, as you look at this, Mike, it's just overwhelming. It's disappointing. You honestly thought that there was going to be more of a competitive defensive fight by the Lakers, and then also I expected them to be ferocious on the offensive boards and then also in the painted area. Give Dallas a ton of credit. Their game plan of the 2-3 zone, the 2-3 matchup, playing players going through, definitely causing confusion in the Laker attack. And then anytime the ball goes down below the foul line area, double and triple teaming.
Jason Kidd heading back to the locker room. 3 fouls here, 3.3 to go. One more for Fisher at the line. Gasol can't put it back in. That's the story of the series. Halftime. Nope, 4/10 yet. 4/10 left. Jason Phillips coming over. I don't know if we had a clock issue there, if it didn't start quickly enough or not.
Now you can make a catch and shoot here now.
Jason Phillips working the game with Ronnie Garrettson, Scott Foster. And all the officials made sure they made a point. They wanted to send a special wish to Joey Crawford, his wife Mary, who's back home after treatment. She's suffering from breast cancer again, and we all echo the officials' thoughts and wishes for Joey and Mary. So we have to check here to adjust the clock with 4/10 of a second left. I thought you made a very good point here, Hubie, as Jason Terry comes out with 20 first-half points. Just incredible, the defensive effort for the Lakers, the number of open three-point shots in this first half.
Yeah, a great ball movement, Mike. I can't underline that enough. And I like what Rick Carlisle just did. He gave an opportunity here with a pause in play for the people to acknowledge the incredible contribution by Jason Terry and Peja Stojakovic in this first half. And when we came on, and if you have not been following the series, and we made the statement that the Lakers were only averaging 89 points,
right,
you probably said, I don't believe that. Well, it's 101 during the season, 89, and then you look at the clock right now, and at halftime, you only have 39. So you can understand why. Because a very underrated team this year, defensively, with the addition of Chandler and also other players, and then Marion coming into that starting lineup. They've had excellent defense, and then that second unit has been a pest. They not only score the ball, they turn you over, they get out on the fast break, and they play together as a team. Very nice.
And Blake and Barnes, the guys who've done it with the second unit, Shannon Brown for LA, just have not been as good as they were in the regular season. Well, as they continue to adjust the clock, let me remind you that on ABC, all new Wednesday, it's Happy Endings at 10 Eastern and Pacific, 9 Central, one of the bright new comedies. And actually on Wednesdays, you get 2 original editions of Happy Endings. So tune in for that Wednesday, 10 Eastern and Pacific, 9 Central, here on ABC. And they continue to try to iron out here these last 4-10 seconds. Hubie, the guys are going to talk about Rajon Rondo in the studio, I believe, in the East in halftime. That was unbelievable last night what he did.
Very courageous. You do not see that very often in professional basketball, mainly because the injury could have been extremely serious. Now, the doctors and the trainer had to give him an okay to do that. But then the fact that he wanted that.
Yes.
He wanted to lead his team.
Here it is.
And there it is right there.
It was hard to watch. I talked to someone who's an elite orthopedist in the country, and she was explaining to me that when you see this, an injury like this, it all has to do with the ligament damage in the elbow. And not a lot of ligament damage makes a possible comeback like we saw, and a comeback that has brought up the mind of 41 years ago today when Willis Reed came out for the Knicks and hit a couple of field goals in game. Of course, different world. It was against the Lakers. It was Game 7 of the NBA Finals. Reed hit the 2 shots, then didn't play the rest of the way. And Walt Frazier had one of the great games in NBA history with 36 points, nearly a triple-double, as the Knicks won Game 7.
Look, you and I have done a ton of playoff games through the years, but the Dallas bench, I've never seen this. 40 points, and they've shot 79%. That is staggering.
Well, they looked at the replay. They determined more time should have run off. So it is halftime, and Jason Terry had 20 standing by with Heather.
Mike, thanks so much. Jason, where are the holes that you're seeing in the Laker defense that allows you to have so much success from the three-point line?
Well, all series long, we've been able to penetrate their bigs, get deep, suck the D in, and then we got spot-up shooters. You got 3 of the most prolific three-point shooters in the history of the game out there.
How important is it for you guys to wrap this thing up here at home today?
Very important. That's why we came out determined, focused, executing our game plan to a T, and then we got to seal the deal. You can't do it for 2 halves. You got to do it for all 48 minutes.
All 4 quarters. Thanks, Jet. Mike?
Heather, thank you. The T-Mobile halftime report. We got Michael, Stewart, JB, and Magic Johnson. Can't wait to hear what the guys have to say about the first half. Get the kids, count along with us. 11 three-pointers by the Dallas Mavericks in the first half, joining the Rockets, the Knicks, the Celtics, the Mavericks who did it in 2003 to Sacramento and Stojakovic, ironically, Golden State, and the Orlando Magic 3 years ago. The only teams to hit 11 three-pointers in a half of a playoff game. It's the reason that the Mavs are 24 minutes away from sweeping the 2-time defending champion Lakers.
Now, it's time for the McDonald's first half highlights.
Hey, hey, baby, say the way you move, gonna make you sweat, gonna make you groove.
That was today's McDonald's first half highlights.
Three-pointers, that's how they did it in the first half. 63-39, Dallas by 24 with 24 minutes to left. We take a look at today's Weight Watchers first half stats, and one thing tells the tale. 11 three-pointers, tying the NBA playoff record held by multiple teams. Look at the bench. Mike Tirico, Hall of Famer Hughley Brown, and Heather Cox. I want to take you back to comments Phil Jackson made to us pregame. We asked him keys to the game. Listen to Phil's response.
Our goal is to keep them off the three-point line and make them two-point shooters.
Well, time for our Coors Light cold hard look. It's the cold hard reality. They've been three-point shooters, and they've been great.
Well, you can see the dribble penetration, then the trap. All 5 defenders are inside the paint. The skip pass. That's what we mean by saying keeping the floor wide, playing the 50 feet. I'm going to double team you. 5 defenders on the right side of the floor. Skip pass to Jason Terry in the opposite corner. Here we come again. And now watch again to the right-hand corner. They're wearing out the right and left-hand corners on this three-point shooting. And you have to love Stojakovic as well as Jason Terry's. Between them, they have 9 out of 10 threes. Now this group, Stojakovic, Terry, and Barea have 40 points off the bench. Dirk Nowitzki playing possum. Now look at the other end. Kobe Bryant has done what he needed. He's playing big, but Bynum, Fisher, and Gasol struggling. 4 for 16.
Heather Cox.
Mike, no one in the locker room got up and made an impassioned speech. It was very quiet and all about X's and O's, and of course, how to improve the three-point defense. They talked about remembering their coverages. They said they've got too many men chasing the ball handler that's stretching out the court and getting the Lakers out of position. Then they finished with, let's take baby steps, cut the lead one possession at a time. Remember, you can't get it done all at once. Mike?
Might have been the last time Phil Jackson addresses a team in the locker room, as Phil has talked about this being his last season. Kidd misses the three, and we have the loose ball foul inside on Gasol.
At the beginning of the game, we made a statement, and I said, I honestly thought we would see a war in the painted area and then on the boards. We have not seen that at all from the Lakers. They only have 5 offensive rebounds for a total of 2 points, and they're shooting and struggling at 37%. But now, if you're not going to rebound your defensive board, I mean, you cannot possibly make a run.
2 on Gasol as he tried to tie up Nowitzki. Hubie, that happened in the first half without Nowitzki going nuts. He only had 8 points, and this is a guy who has dominated this series in stretches.
He read all of the double teams perfectly and passed the basketball. And that's all you've heard from all of their players and coaches in games 1, 2, and 3. Sure, he's scoring the ball, but he's taking the double teams and he's finding all the right people with passes.
Just did there, and Jason Kidd from the top, short on the three. He's missed his first 2 threes here in the third quarter. And Kobe Bryant, 7 of 13 in that first half, 15 points. The one Laker who did bring it out of the locker room to start. Artest from the top hits his second field goal.
Well, this is what you'd like to see. You know, coaches never give up on a game. They give short-term goals by minutes, and then they say, let's get it to this spot, to that spot. All right, the key right now, you've gotten them to miss 3 straight shots. Hold them to 1 shot, get out in your transition game, take high percentage shots, and get it down little by little and work the clock.
Trap Kobe, get out of his hands, rotate it to Bynum inside. It's a pre-shot foul on Dallas. So Sean Stevenson will be whistled for his third. Hubie, I remember back, I think it was the 2003 season, Dallas blew a huge lead in LA. In the fourth quarter, they were up over 20 points. So we've seen it happen before. Maverick fans know all about having a lead, looking like everything was set and things falling apart. So there's a keen awareness of what still could happen. Bynum short, Gasol inside. Down to the corner, it's Fisher who missed the three. And we chiefly, and you were there, you called the game. Finals 2006,
right.
Up 2-0, up 13 with 6:33 left in the fourth quarter. Wade gets aggressive, gets to the line a lot. Lose game 3, lose the series in 6.
Yeah, and I'm Rick Carlisle. Hey, Mike, only 2 guys are still on that team, right?
That's right. No, absolutely.
All right, Jason, Terry, and Dirk, and they're having some pretty good games here.
Hey, Nowitzki knocks down the shot. We just recorded history. We're not forecasting. You know, we
no,
need that.
Absolutely. Look, you never want to give up because we've all seen games at playoff time. Forget about the regular season, even in playoff time. But you have to do it defensively. You have to hold the club to 1 shot and then shoot a high percentage at the other end.
Stevenson hit a 3 in the first half, misses 1 here. And then, Hubie, you think about Memphis yesterday, what they did in Oklahoma City in their fourth quarter comeback. And this group right here, as Nowitzki and Marion combine, and the Mavericks will pick up a foul on Marion. This group right here, the Portland series, when they were up 13 and up 23, and Brandon Roy had that unbelievable quarter in the fourth to get that game on Portland's side. And the Dallas team has talked about how that galvanized this group. I mentioned 13. There were 13 minutes left in the game. It was a 23-point lead for the Mavericks. And then it fell apart quickly. They did not score in the fourth quarter. But since that loss in Portland in Game 4, knotting that series, they've been on a roll.
Yes, they haven't lost it. They played extremely well, and that's what they talk about. They say that was one of the major turning points for them to believe in themselves. They had a great record. They tied with Miami at 28 wins with the best road records, so they're playing with a ton of confidence, not just in this building, but on the road as well.
Moving up cold, 1 of 6 here in the third quarter.
Yeah, you just got to get another field goal. It's like, come on, he's getting hit here. You got to call that. So if you don't call it, he's going to retaliate because he's very upset with the way that the game is going right now. He's been on top of his game. He has met the pressure of this, came in with 15 points at halftime, and shot a very respectable 7 for 13 at the half. But unfortunately, there has been no help.
Foul on Stevenson was his third, and the Lakers have 3 team fouls here in the first 3 minutes, or the Mavericks, I should say. Fisher driving in on Kidd, but couldn't finish.
That's been the story of the day. Think about it. They've had at least 4 of those, 4 or 5, where they've been right inside and the ball has not dropped.
Artest charging over, knocked the ball away from Nowitzki and sends Bryant the other way. The Lakers, like the Mavs, 1 of 6 to open the third quarter.
Look out here now. There it is.
John Marion passes it to a guy who spent about $500 for a ticket.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I'm surprised that he just didn't attack the rim. I like what Jason Kidd does, as good as anybody in the history of the game. When he's coming down the transition game in the open floor, he just opened up the middle by going to the left side looking for the trailer. It was there for Marion.
Maverick fans sense a little lull from their team, trying to kick them back in, trying to close out the Lakers. Bryant trapped, in trouble, turns it over.
Once again, good rotation defense. You see the 3 white shirts down in there, and they did not allow Kobe to come out from behind the board.
Size mismatch, Lakers able to recover. Stevenson again off on the 3 and rebounded by LA. If you're just joining us across the top of the hour, Game 4 of this West semifinal. The Mavericks looking to sweep the 2-time defending champion Lakers, who have come out not very inspired in the first half, but have here in the third quarter. This is going to be on Tyson Chandler as he battled Gasol inside.
Well, definitely the elbow went out and caught Gasol. But see, it hits once again. The play is made in the paint. The shot, is not there, and then there is the clear out. And that was a very easy call. You're going to see it right here. Now, once the shot goes up, now watch, boom. They're going to call that. Why? Because they don't want anything to get chippy here as we move through the third and fourth quarter.
Deshaun Stevenson, in the battling with Kobe, took a shoulder and an elbow to the chin earlier. He's a bit dazed as well. Artest on the drive, fouled by Marion, and chance for the three-point play. Dallas getting a little off its kilter. Marion has 3 fouls.
I like this about Artest. In this third quarter now, Artest has come out here saying, anytime I get an opportunity, I'm going to attack the rim, I'm going to get in the painted area. Unfortunately, you would like to see everyone else have that same mindset other than Kobe Bryant.
Artest knocks down the free throw. It's under 20, 19 with 7:44 to go here in the third. And Peja Stojakovic is going to come up off the bench for Rick Carlisle, as Artest has scored 7 here in the third on the Laker points.
Now, we just had a very hard baseline screen.
Yep.
And you can see Stevenson takes out Gasol with a very tough screen.
And he's got the foul.
That's right. And you're not going to get I told you now, the officials are not going to allow anything to get out of hand here. Now just watch this hard foul on the baseline as he comes across. See, he stepped out, he catches him with the forearm, and then moved him out of there, and the referee was right there, Jason Phillips.
It's 6 fouls on Dallas to start this quarter, 2 of them offensive, so their team foul total is at 4.
Well, when you want to come back, that's always an aid.
That's it. Kobe posting Kidd, wanted the foul, didn't get it, and behind the play we get a foul called as Artest held Jason Kidd. Kobe complaining to Scott Foster that he should have had a foul when Kidd grabbed him a moment ago.
Yeah, he's upset about that. It's the old story in post play. When you're being played physically, when the pass comes in, you got to step and meet the ball. You just can't stay anchored, because that guy, even though he's got maybe a piece of your shirt or that, he's got the advantage.
Fisher with the steal along the sideline. Artest got trapped for the dunk, and now we get the whistle and the foul on Artest. He got caught between the layup and the dunk, couldn't time his steps, and pick up his 3rd foul.
Now that's the kind of game it's been. That's at least the 5th opportunity for a layup here. Now, if you can't get up because you got an injury or your legs are tired, you got to lay it up off the board because you're trying to come back. If you would have made that, you're only down 17. You're making a big advancement here.
Jason Terry back in off the bench at that whistle. Stays hot from 3. Jason Terry, his 7th three-pointer of this game.
Once you have Jason Terry and you have Kidd in the backcourt, remember now, off the dribble, that's what he told Heather at halftime. We know we can get by them, and then we just kick out for the 3.
They double Kobe. Artest no. Nowitzki rebounds Dallas. Right back to 22. Peja Stojakovic
It
to
is
Terry again,
Beautiful.
a three.
Beautiful.
Oh my goodness!
That was great ball movement. Not only did Jason Terry, behind the backboard, make the pass out. Once that pass went out, he continued right to the left corner, and then the pass was made. This is just an easy play for them. Slow rotation. Now keep an eye on Jason Terry as he passes out. There's the rotation. I give it right back up. Knock it home, big fella.
Near record performance for Jason Terry today. For an individual shooting threes, 9 made in a game. As we take a look at today's Cooler Talk, brought to you by Gatorade. Rex Chapman, Vince Carter, and Ray Allen might soon have company, as Jason Terry is now the 11th man to make exactly 8 three-pointers in a playoff game.
Well, anytime that the double team comes from the Lakers, you'll see the pass out. Once they pass the ball out on a diagonal, you'll see the second pass. And Jason has come in here today. He's 9 for 12 in field goals, but he's 8 for 9. Peja Stojakovic is 3 for 3. Between the two of them, they are 11 for 12 in threes. Now just think about this. If Ron Artest makes that uncontested layup, it's 17.
Right.
And it went right to 25 before you could blink.
In about 35 seconds,
That's
40
right.
seconds, 2 trips. The last man to make 8 threes in a playoff game. Laker fans, you will remember this. It was game 2 at Staples when Ray Allen had the 8 threes, part of his 32 points. Gasol scores inside for the Lakers and narrows it down from what was the largest lead of the game.
Well, I like what we saw there. We saw that if you're going to post, you're either going to post Artest in the painted area there, or then also Kobe Bryant. So you can't do that. You can't front a post-up guy and then allow the passer to pass. It's the old story. When you front a defense, you got to jam the passer and turn his shoulder so he can't see that pass.
Jason has 28. Gasol has back-to-back field goals for LA. Bynum and Gasol, 5 of 14 combined here. They have not featured Bynum very often in the game. Jason Terry, part of that great group of basketball players, fouled by Odom here on the outside. Part of that great group of basketball players from Seattle, but a bunch of terrific players from out in the Northwest who were coming up at around a similar time, and his acceptance of this role as a sixth man, won the sixth man award over the last 3 years, has really been such a unique part of playing Dallas, because as you like to say, it's not always who closes games very often. And he's on the floor.
Well, he's always on the floor. And then they play two-man basketball with Dirk Nowitzki. So we know that once you get to the fourth quarter, listen, Jason Terry is the third-rated finisher in the fourth quarter by over 6 points a game. And then right behind him is Dirk Nowitzki. So they have the third and fourth highest guys who score for you in the fourth quarter.
His playoff career high is 36. This is the second time he has 29 in these playoffs. Steve Blake in for Derek Fisher.
My God, come on, the defense has been good. They're trapping, recovering, forcing the extra pass.
Kobe misfires, 7 of 16. Nowitzki had a tip, but Stojakovic is there to chase. You just look at the floor for the Mavericks. You don't have a ton of guys who've won championship rings, but you have a lot of guys who have been in big playoff games. It's going to be a moving screen on Jason Kidd. His 4th personal foul. We'll see if Rick Carlisle goes to J.J. Barea here.
Well, you can't go wrong if you go to Barea, and he's coming right now. When you look at what they have done, it's just been spectacular. When you talk about Stojakovic, Terry, and Barea, at one time here, they were 15 for 19 from the floor.
Odom coming baseline. Kobe was out here calling for it, but Lamar had the edge inside. And the Lakers have done a better job getting inside for baskets in this third quarter.
Yeah. Well, it's good that they're making that happen, Mike, in a half-court game. But this is the problem right there. See, Jason Terry, also Barea, and Jason Kidd have continually beat the perimeter defense off the dribble. Then when the Lakers rotate, we know what's been happening. 1 pass, 2 pass, high percentage shots.
Stopping quick guards has been a problem with the Lakers over the last couple of years. Odom gets the bang in the bucket, and he'll have a chance for a three-point play.
Now, Barea has been a total, a pest throughout this entire season. This is what he does well. See, he'll take on Ron Artest right there. Hey, you're going to play me, Artest? Now, he switched off. There's been a lot of switching here in this quarter by the Lakers, and so they're getting a lot of mismatches. Barea sees it right there. Hey, from 22 to 24 feet, I can take Artest to this basket.
2 fouls on Tyson Chandler. Odom short on the free throw. The Lakers have brought Shannon Brown in off their bench to replace Artest, and Brown matches up with the quickness of Barea.
Well, the big thing is you can't continue to switch then and get the forwards or power forward or center out on a small man.
Chandler throws it off of a Laker out of bounds. It'll stay down here. Hubie, that's why I love watching sports and watching games. Who would have thought that Phil Jackson and the Lakers would have to adjust with a sub to get J.J. Barea and take him out of the game a couple of years ago when Barea was just making the roster? The same thing with Nowitzki. You go back to the early days as Barea hits another one. You go back to the early days of Nash and Nowitzki. They were bench players here in Dallas, and they got the key to the gym. They got in at night and worked on their pick and rolls and their odd shots and all that stuff. That's why those two guys have made it. Double dribble on Odom.
How do you like
look at Barea pushing at Odom. Delay a game warning on Lamar.
On the previous play, when Barea went down in there and he came back out from the baseline on a spin move, Brown wasn't sure where he was, and he just threw that little fadeaway. The perimeter people are just playing just with a nice casualness about them. They're not forcing anything, and they're playing to their strengths.
Jason Terry ties an NBA playoff record. 9 3-pointers made today. Shannon Brown knocks down his three-pointer. You said it before, Hubie. Just look at the score total for the Lakers. Here we are, late third. They're sitting on 57. They just cannot score. Dallas's defense has them a bit solved.
See, everyone will talk, and a lot of people will say, hey, Dallas is playing great in this series because of their offense. No, their defense has been superb.
Nowitzki inside for 2. Brown tries to go back-to-back with the threes. Terry on the rebound. Stojakovic at the line.
Come on
15 threes in the game.
How about the pass from the left sideline all the way to the right sideline?
Odom forces his way inside and will come to the line on the other side of this timeout. The Dallas Mavericks on their way to a 4-game sweep of the 2-time defending champs, and it'll be a Jason Terry memorable game. He tied an NBA record, 9 threes made in a game. The team is 15 of 23 shooting threes, and they're blowing the Lakers out. Wow.
ESPN's presentation of the NBA playoffs on ABC, brought to you by Ford, Drive One, and Warner Brothers Pictures' Green Lantern, in theaters June 17.
Baseball, the Braves will take on the best in Major League Baseball, the Phillies, tied with Cleveland atop the Major Leagues. That's 8 Eastern over on ESPN tonight. And then Monday night will be Josh Beckett on the hill for the Red Sox against the Minnesota Twins, who had a no-hitter last Monday night. See what happens. Defending champions swept in a best-of-7. The 83 Lakers were swept by Philly in the NBA Finals. And then the Lakers in 89 were swept by the Detroit Pistons. And that Piston group was swept in 91 by the Bulls. Remember, that was the famous walk-off game with the Pistons, and they just kind of walked off without the handshake. 96, the Rockets swept by Seattle in the conference semifinals after their run of titles. And then Miami in 07 was knocked out in the first round by the Bulls. It was a little bit different constitution to that Miami team at that point. Hubie, some may have thought Dallas could win this series. I don't think anyone was thinking it would be a sweep. And Jason Terry has helped make that a big change of scenery in this series.
Well, we said coming into this game, you had to appreciate their defense by holding the Lakers to 89 points. You had to appreciate their three-point shooting game, and they proved it here. In this game, they're 15 for 23. Then we also said their bench was so dominant, 37 to 17. That's a 20-plus in the first three games in each game. So they have stepped up and proved it to us in this encounter. And then when you just realize that the Lakers, now Kobe came out smoking. He was 6 for 8 in the first quarter, but since then 1 for 8, so there's no one to rally around. But I still maintain, if Artest makes that layup and it goes to 17, the momentum was moving. It's gone from 17 to 29, and it's almost like a heartbeat.
They played him even up to that point in the third quarter, you're right, if not a little bit ahead. Jason Terry came back down. Yeah, to travel. He came back down on his spot.
That's the first time we have seen a Laker close out a shooter that was in the air, okay? I mean, he got up in there and then he realized that Blake was right out on top of him.
You know, it's interesting, Hubie, all these wide open threes that Dallas has shot and made for the most part here today. When you go back to that whole incident with Phil Jackson and the push punch on Pau Gasol as Barnes scores inside, the start of that time, he was chewing out Andrew Bynum in Game 3. Well, you go back and watch that portion of the game, there were 2 wide open threes on the 2 plays before that, mistakes on rotations, and Kobe even said, we were terrible with our defensive rotations in Game 3. That was the genesis of all that anger.
Well, Mike, come on, that's basic basketball. If you continue to beat our defensive guards, we then must rotate behind to cut them off from getting into the paint or to the rim. Once that happens, if they kick the ball out to the corner or behind the three-point line, now you're asking guys to get from the paint to the behind the three-point line. And we've just shown it here tonight that the Dallas ball movement has been absolutely beautiful because they're the width of the court, 50 feet. And that's what we mean by perfect spacing.
4.9 the difference, game and shot clock. Deflected away, here's Barnes, a little push at the end of the quarter. No, Stojakovic takes it away. Barea, why not? Everything else has gone in. End of the third quarter. Record-tying performance by Jason Terry, and we could be leading to the final quarter of Phil Jackson's Hall of Fame head coaching career. After 3, the Mavs by 24, and the NBA playoffs on ABC will continue after this message and a word from your ABC station.
Hi, I'm Jason Kidd of the Dallas Mavericks. I would like to wish all the moms a happy Mother's Day.
Welcome back to Dallas. Welcome back to Dallas, where the Mavs have a big lead. Rick, throughout this series, you've continued to preach respect for the Lakers, not take anything for granted, not relax. How have you been able to be so relentless?
Well, we got to be a persistent team to have success. Doesn't matter who we're playing. And, you know, to this point, we've been doing it today, but it ain't over yet.
Yeah, these next 12 minutes might be the longest in your coaching career. How do you keep them focused and in the moment?
Well, we've been doing it all year and preaching it all year. You know, hey, it's 12 minutes is a long time, but I'm going to enjoy it.
Thank you. Enjoy it.
Heather, thank you. Dallas going for its second ever sweep of a best-of-7 series. Good defense by Jason Terry forces the air ball and Dallas ball.
Well, right now, Phil Jackson is staying with the second unit perimeter guys, meaning Blake, Brown, and then Barnes. Hopefully that they can keep in front of the penetrating people and then also get the kick out, get some misses, and hopefully get out on the break. See what they can do. Just don't give up.
Brendan Hayward has to shoot, and he got fouled by Barnes as he went up.
You know, in that first half, Mike, we were talking so much about the bench, meaning, you know, Stojakovic, Terry, and Barea. But Brendan Hayward came in and did a terrific job. He had 6 rebounds in that spell whilst they were accelerating out on the fast break.
This has been tough to watch in the playoffs. Hayward's free throw shooting, and you know it's a Mavs day when he makes them. He's only 4 of 17. in the playoffs. Miami, Boston, Oklahoma City, Memphis tomorrow on TNT. Boston at home tries to even the series. Oklahoma City doing that on the road. And we note the 8:30 Central starting time for Zach Randolph, who was tardy showing up for the game, only an hour 25 beforehand, getting to the arena. Said some of the flooding issues in the Memphis area may have delayed him. He was there at the end, I know that.
Well, Mike, come on. Anytime you get 21 points and 21 rebounds, I would think that the coaching staff was happy that he was there.
And they sent a car for him to make sure he's there.
Zach was great. Come on, they were down 16 points. You know, you think about it near the end of the third quarter, and they came storming back. Give Memphis a ton of credit. It was a great team play. Lionel Hollins went to a small unit, and they responded, played excellently, and then definitely Zach was the key guy in the post area to give them credibility for double teaming.
And if that series goes long and Dallas holds on to this lead, about a week of rest for the Mavericks, at least, before hosting Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals. Barea is short. Look at Haywood chase it down into the lap of Frank Hamblin there, but they say he stepped out, and it will be Laker ball. And Brendan with an apology for the veteran Laker assistant, Frank Hamblin.
I like what Rick Carlisle did. So he's not conceding a thing here. He's saying, hey, we got this game won. He brought Nowitzki right back in to stay with his 4 guys on his second unit. They only rotate 9 players here.
Lamar Odom drives inside and scores.
Well, Odom, anytime, Mike, that he's taking it off the dribble strong. When he catches and faces up and goes, he's been able to score the ball or get fouled.
Dirk.
Well, coming into this game, he was 7 for 10 in threes. So you like that part of it. He hasn't forced the thing all day. Plus, he's 93% on the foul line in this series. 56 from the floor. So he has done it at the offensive end all over, and then the 10 boards.
Steve Blake on the miss. Matt Barnes inside the rebound and the basket. And a foul. You saw Dirk, he's had a quiet offensive game, Hubie, with 15 today. They haven't needed him. But look at this. The history of the playoffs. 25 points and 10 rebounds per game average. Bob Pettit, Elgin Baylor, Hakeem Olajuwon, and Dirk Nowitzki.
Well, come on, we're talking about, 3 Hall of Fame guys there. And Dirk Nowitzki, we know, will get in there whenever he hangs it up.
The greatest Dallas Maverick ever. Stojakovic. 17 threes. The record by a team in a playoff game is 20 three-pointers.
I've never seen 2 players do it the way that we're seeing it today. Stojakovic is 5 for 5, and Jason Terry is 9 for 10.
Yeah, 14 to 15 for that duo. On the drive, Odom's bumped, and the foul is called on the Mavs. You know, Hubie, I'm thinking here at 9:13, it's 27. The Lakers aren't coming back to win this game. And you start to wonder what's going through Phil Jackson's mind and all the Laker fans. You heard what Magic said at halftime, and John Barry. JB said you got to wonder if there's something going on in that locker room. And those guys are locker room guys. They've lived in those locker rooms. And you never know. But Laker fans are asking that question as well. And it will be a lot of conversation and stories written. ESPNLosAngeles.com will certainly have that. ESPNDallas.com as well. We're going to have a technical foul here, I believe. No, we just have Jason Terry checking out. Beg your pardon. That was the ovation. Officials got together for a second. Jason Terry coming over to the bench with his 32 points, getting a standing ovation. So,
well, Mike, this has just been a classic. If you are a defensive team and you cannot guard their 3 perimeter players off the dribble, you are constantly rotating and double teaming. Your defense is now broken down and at a disadvantage.
Whoa. Odom went to Nowitzki on purpose. Flagrant is called right away by Jason Phillips. Odom was frustrated, and I said I thought there was a T there. There were some words a moment ago.
Yes.
Odom has been short on all of his free throws. As Nowitzki was coming down the court, Odom met him there and came over with a physical and a little bit of an elbow, and let's see what will be called here as the officials get together.
Well, you never want to see anything like this happen, mainly because you're dealing with a franchise player here, and then Odom is still giving a lot of lip right
cursing,
here now.
he's yelling and cursing here at Nowitzki.
And Nowitzki right now, he just has to walk away.
Yeah,
mainly because you are the star for your team. You know, up until today in the first 3 games, there it is right there. See, that's uncalled for.
Yeah, I got to tell you something. It's a 27-point game. There is frustration on the Lakers' part, but you also have to lose like a champion. If you are a champion and you are part of a championship team, you have to lose that way too, and that was uncalled for.
Now this is a situation, I'm glad the referees, like we told you early on, even in that first half, they were not allowing cheap things to happen. They were right on top of the calls. And I like the quick whistle right here. They're not going to allow Odom, and then that is the correct thing to do
throw
in this game.
They're going to throw him out of the game. Yep.
Put him out. You cannot set a tone for any more things that might happen in any other game throughout the playoffs. This is the correct call. The officials have been positive all day today. They've been on top of every single skirmish that might have happened. Well officiated game here.
So a flagrant 2 is called on Lamar Odom, who is ejected. Nowitzki comes to the line, and to restore order and peace, Ron Artest replaced Odom in the Laker lineup. (96-68). Kids between ages 6 and 12, ask mom and dad. It's Mother's Day, ask mom. Go to NBAHoopTrip.com, enter the shot clock shopping spree. You can win one of 3 VIP trips to New York City, where you and an NBA star will shoot for 24 seconds. Get as much gear as you can. NBAHoopTrip.com. Artest now being physical with Nowitzki, and a foul is called by Scott Foster. Just going to shut this down, and that's, you said it, a great job by these officials here, and just trying their best to keep things calm.
Well, the one thing is you cannot allow a star player who's one of your top players in the NBA, makes the All-NBA first, second, or third team every single year, to get injured in a game that, you're definitely going to lose, and you're getting pounded by short temper.
You're getting embarrassed. You're getting embarrassed.
That's correct.
By 30. 2-time champions. Very sad way for the Phil Jackson coaching resume to end the last line of it. But full credit to Dallas. As you said, the perimeter for Dallas, the shooting, not backing down. Barea, oh, look at that.
Oh, boy.
That is Bynum. He will be ejected, and that's one of the biggest Bush League things I've ever seen. That is terrible. And Barea is injured. And the Mavericks bench is being very cautious as the medical staff looks. The medical staff's out looking at him. They're keeping everybody on the Mavs bench away from Bynum so they don't get anybody coming off the bench in an incident for the next series. Artest walked Bynum to the exit, and he's been thrown out of the game. Fortunately, Barea is getting up. Let's hope he's okay. That's one of the most Bush League things I've ever seen in a game. That's disgusting.
Amen to that. Amen to that. And I just don't understand why this is happening. We're talking about, when you say Los Angeles Lakers,
absolutely,
you're talking about excellence. You're talking about titles. You're talking about some of the greatest players ever to play. And for this game to end in this manner is a disgrace.
It's an embarrassment to the Buss family, Class family. It's an embarrassment to Phil Jackson and Mitch Kupchak, too, who have had a great career as a head coach, and Mitch putting this team together as a GM. So they're checking the video to make sure, and they made the right call right away. It's a flagrant 2. So he's tossed, and we'll have a timeout here. 8:21. Dallas up 32. They'll look at Barea medically as well. And we'll be back in Dallas after this. New series, Body of Proof, ABC, 10 Eastern and Pacific, 9 Central on Tuesdays. J.J. Barea is going to come back into the game to shoot the free throws. Fortunately, he looks okay. Here are the 2 plays again, Hubie. First, Odom.
Yeah, they're right there. Now you can see that is totally uncalled for, and it was an extension of what happened at the other end. And right here, this is just Bush League. And it's going to be interesting of the referees' reports that go back into the NBA office and how they judge this and especially because when you think of Phil Jackson and his career, you cannot think of any teams of his that played in 13 finals that ever acted like this. Okay, now think about that. You can say, hey, you might not have liked Chicago, you might not have liked the Lakers, except for one thing. Totally professional teams, played the game the right way, tough defensively, played great under pressure.
And there was nasty moments, no doubt, in those 90s series early on, the early 90s with the Bulls, but the Pistons, bad boys, the Celtics, the Knicks teams that you coached, you were involved in many of those games as kid is short. Very different era and time of basketball. And as you said, rough physical basketball was defined differently then.
Yes.
Not cheap shot stuff like we just saw as Kobe misses the three. Very out of character for Lamar Odom, who's usually one of the easier going, nicest guys. Foul on Sean Marion inside. And you don't know if it's the frustration of the series, the frustration of, as the guy said, something might be going on with this Laker team, and who knows what we'll hear as we go forward.
Well, Mike,
or the frustration of being embarrassed.
Oh,
and that
absolutely.
is what has happened in the series and at an all-time high level here this afternoon.
Well, especially, Mike, when they made their run and when they missed the layup, all right, they were totally in the game. And since that time, when that happened on the missed layup by Artest, the game has gone totally out of hand. It's become embarrassment. Then all of a sudden in the right-hand corner, away from us, we see that Odom and Dirk Nowitzki and all this chippy talk. So that's why I'm saying the referee's report to the main office is going to be very big here in the fines that are going to be distributed to these two players.
And not just the fines, there very well will be suspensions next year at the start of the season for these players. Obviously, the Lakers will be done here in about a half hour. Kobe had 13 in the first quarter, has 17 now. Sean Marion extends the lead to 33. Largest lead of the day here for Dallas again.
Well, we've seen this double teaming and defense coming out farther, out by the three-point line by Dallas in all of the other games, and especially today, selectively, they take them and they force the passes, they get them out of their triangle offense, and they make the offense difficult for the Lakers. Great defensive plan by the coaching staff of the Dallas Mavericks, and it's held up because I know that they're going to get more than 89. They got a shot at getting more than 89 because there's 7 minutes left.
Right.
But now we can understand and give Dallas a ton of credit for their plan over the three previous games.
No doubt. Lakers over the limit now with 7 minutes left here in the fourth, down 35. Next question that we'll ask with LA will be, one, who's going to be the coach? Shannon Brown hits a three. Two, what do you do to the roster? And Magic Johnson mentioned yesterday, as we've discussed already here today, about looking at this roster and can you make a trade? Dwight Howard's name has come up, and I'm sure will continue to come up by those who are speculating about what's out there. But you think about the Lakers under contract, they have a lot of players under contract for next year. Mitch Kupchak will have to deal with all of that. Here's the core of the Lakers with Bynum, Fisher, and Odom, 2 more years. The top, Brian Gasol and Artest, 3. Player options for Shannon Brown and Matt Barnes to remain Lakers.
Well, you can look at it. Their primary 3 big guys, meaning Odom, Bynum, and Gasol, are all under contract. And then it comes down to you have to evaluate this team. Come on, after the All-Star game, they went out 17-1, and then they fell apart. And everyone kept saying Brian Shaw might be the leading candidate to be the next coach. But everybody is saying, what is wrong with the Lakers? It's a lethargic play. And even in their first round, in their series, they did not play up to their potential night in and night out. And then definitely in this series, come on. I like the fact that Phil Jackson said that, hey, with 3 minutes, we could be ahead 2-1.
Game 1 and game 3.
Absolutely, because they were ahead in both games as we got down into the 3-minute mark, and it got away from them. Well, that's called execution and getting. Did you shoot a high percentage? No. Did the right guys get the ball in their best areas of the court? And the answer to that was no. So people question of how they ended those 2 games that they lost by shot selection, and then at the other end, Phoenix got the ball to where they wanted to go. I'm sorry. Dallas got the ball to where they wanted to go, and they did an excellent job not only getting high percentage shots, but getting on the foul line and making their foul shots.
You mentioned Brian Shaw. He has been the person mentioned most as the person who could be next in line to replace Phil Jackson. He's been here for a while as an assistant through the organization. Celtic draft pick, 3 NBA titles with the Lakers. Very good relationship with Kobe Bryant, which is essential to the next coach because Kobe is still the centerpiece of this franchise. So we will see if that, in fact, is the next place they go and when that conversation starts to heat up. But the speculation will begin here in 6 minutes of playing time. 109-78 after the Shannon Brown 3.
No one understands the weaknesses of a team when it starts to crumble unless you're in that locker room and you're at the practices and you're at the timeouts over there at the benches. And then when you're watching your team play, are they executing the game plan at both ends of the floor? And then where is the chemistry or lack of chemistry, and why is there a lack of chemistry? Is it a fatigue factor? There's so many things that will go into Mitch Kupchak and his administration and the coaching staff sitting down and trying to diagnose what has happened here to this ball club.
All these runs to the finals. Stojakovic again. He's 6 for 6. And Stojakovic and Jason Terry are 15 of 16 shooting threes. They have put on the best 1-2 3-point shooting show in NBA playoff history today. Artest inside is fouled, and we hit a timeout at the 4:45 mark. That 3, the 47th, and this will be a 4-game series, so it's a record. Sometimes jump shooting does not carry over to the playoffs. It has in spades for Mark Cuban, Jason Terry, and the Western Conference final bound Dallas Mavericks.
ESPN's presentation of the NBA playoffs on ABC, brought to you by the 2011 Sierra from GMC, the best Sierra ever.
I want to wish all the mothers out there a happy Mother's Day, especially my own.
Nice greeting from Tyson, and the Mavericks on their way to this conference finals. ABC Wednesday Happy Endings, all new. Every Wednesday, ABC giving you not one but two all new back-to-back episodes at 10, 9 Central here on ABC. Your Buick Regal game track for this closing game of the conference semifinal. Dallas up 4 after the first, and the three-point barrage began, up 24 at the half. Same true through 3. Jason Terry tying an NBA playoff record with 9 3-pointers. And the Mavericks as a team are 2 shy of a record. They've hit 18 threes in this game. Kobe Bryant likely on the bench. The benches have been emptied both ways. Jan Mahimi, Brian Cardinal, and Corey Brewer checking in for Dallas. Trey Johnson, who played only 1 regular season game for the Lakers, has checked in for Los Angeles. Trying to avoid their worst playoff loss ever. They're down 32 right now. Of course, we remember that game in the finals in 08. There is Corey Brewer, the former Florida Gator, who actually gave him some good minutes in Game 1 when the Mavs were down 16.
Before that layup by a second-team player, Stojakovic, Terry, and Barea scored 72 points in this game. The first team for Dallas has only scored 36, so they doubled them. But how about they made 26 out of 33 shots? Now, when do we ever see that, Mike? We've never seen that. 3 guys coming off the bench with that kind of production.
Luke Walton has also checked in for Los Angeles along with Trey Johnson. And Joe Smith, the former #1 overall, as we are just filling out the box score here in the last 4 minutes, but it's a different one, ending the career of Phil Jackson. Let's talk about what Dallas has been up against, Hubie, because Mark Cuban's built an unbelievable franchise here, very successful. But look at the roadblocks they've had. They've had the Kobe and Shaq, and then the Kobe Lakers, and the San Antonio Spurs with Duncan, Parker, and Ginobili. In the last dozen years, only those 3 franchises have been to the Western Conference Finals, and the Lakers doing it all those times. The Spurs 4, and Dallas in 06 when they lost to Miami. And in that same time period, 3 teams have represented the West. 9 different teams have represented the East. So the Mavericks are really darn good. They just had 2 great franchises on their side of the draw.
Well, give Mark Cuban a ton of credit here. Mike, for 11 straight years, they've won over 50 games a year. Now,
Right.
where's the frustration? Why are these people so jacked up? Sure, they're beating the Lakers, but they also went out 3 times in the last 4 years in the first round, even though they won over 50 games.
Right.
So that's where the frustration is in this franchise. So everyone is so elated because the defense has been terrific, and they're seeing it. And then also, we all know that they've always been able to score.
J.J. Barea has 22. His playoff career high. The Mavericks one shy of an NBA single-game playoff record for threes made. Trey Johnson on the miss. And Hubie, it is, the Atlanta Braves were so great for so long and have that one championship to show for it. And they were better than that, over their time. Trey Johnson fouls Mahimi inside. The Mavericks are a similar type franchise. All the success, but not the ring at the end. This guy had most of the rings. We'll talk about the final moments of Phil Jackson's head coaching career in all likelihood when we come back. Phil Jackson's children. As Phil said, they put down their adult lives to come here today. It's sensing that it might be the end of one of the great coaching resumes in the history of sport. The 3 championships with Jordan and the Bulls, and then Michael took the 2 years away, came back, and another three-peat. Then they didn't keep those Bulls together. Phil took a year off, out to Los Angeles with Kobe and Shaq winning 3. And then, after Shaq left, Lakers struggled. Phil steps away for a year. Rudy Tomjanovich comes in. Jackson comes back and wins number 10 to pass Red Auerbach for the most all-time. And those hats that his kids are wearing with the X there, the kids made those hats when Phil won the 10th in Orlando. I remember being there and watching them give the hats, and Phil wore that, which was uncharacteristic of him, but his kids did it for him. And then winning the 11th last year. And now the end. And there is no way you would have thought that the end of Phil Jackson's head coaching career with Jordan and Pippen and O'Neal and Bryant, Robert Horry, and all those great players would end with Trey Johnson on the floor for the Lakers. But that is the way this sudden, shocking finish has played out.
I think, though, when you look at Phil Jackson, it's 20 years of coaching, 13 finals. That is a staggering stat. Then you add the 11 rings. And when you look at him, he was a great organization man. He surrounded himself with excellent coaches and good teachers, starting with Tex Winter and Johnny Bach and Frankie Hamlin in Chicago. Then he'll be referred to as a great communicator and salesman, because not all of the star players that played for him were enamored with the triangle offense. He had to sell that, demand it, and then have the teams play to their potential. Then the last thing, when you're picked as a coach every year to be running for the championship, the pressure that is on you on a daily basis within the media, within your peer group, and within your players. You are going to the middle of June 13 times in 20 years. So from a physical standpoint, the fact that he's been able to stay on top of all of this and then keep the fact, and then it was all passed on in 07 when he went into the Hall of Fame.
I want to give you one last number here on Phil, all these numbers. Tonight, if you include the playoff games and the regular season games in the NBA, is his 1,973rd game as a head coach. And 1973 was the year that Phil played with the Knicks and won that NBA title. And it will end here in Dallas this afternoon.
You're not bringing up the Albany Patroons, are you?
No, not the CBA.
Right.
No, not the CBA.
When they won the championship in the CBA.
He was a second-round draft pick, played for the Knicks, played over 800 games, worked his way through coaching. And it has been, as I said before, the best professional resume in coaching in American sports with the 11 championships. But this moment does belong side by side in a parallel universe to the Mavericks and their accomplishment of sweeping the Lakers and winning this second-round series.
Well,
Final minute.
Myself, I'm happy for Rick Carlisle and his staff. They have done a wonderful job with this team. They've changed its personality. We also know that bringing in Tyson Chandler and Stojakovic and then adding it to what you already have, things have picked up for you, but now you have a new identity. Not only the three-point shooting.
And that's the record. 20 ties the record. 20 three-pointers made in a playoff game.
But now the respect factor at the defensive end of the floor. And that has been their number one goal since the first day of training camp.
Luke Walton off on his shot. Final half minute. Shot clock violation. The Dallas Mavericks lost 3 of 4 to Memphis, beat Oklahoma City 2 of 3. That will be the Western Conference Finals. For the 4th time in franchise history, the Dallas Mavericks are going to the Western Conference Finals. There will be a new champion in the NBA, and one of the great coaching careers of all time has come to an end, in all likelihood. Well, Mark Cuban and Phil Jackson, who have shared many a negative word publicly, did not go after each other in this series. And Cuban with a hug for Kobe Bryant as he departs. A lot of the players around the league respect what Mark has done with his franchise. A new champion will be crowned as the Los Angeles Lakers face a ton of questions going forward. A very embarrassing elimination here in Dallas, 122 to 86. As they file off, and perhaps we've seen Phil Jackson coach for the final time. 11 rings. This day belongs to the Dallas Mavericks, moving to the Western Finals. And here's Heather with Dirk Nowitzki and Jason Terry.
Mike, thanks so much, Jason. You guys came in thinking win, but how did you do it in such a convincing fashion?
To God be the glory. We stayed focused. We came out and executed our game plan. Break them down with penetration, get out in transition, but defensively, that's where we started it in training camp. Defensively is where we made our stand.
And boy, did you have a hot hand tonight, 9 of 10 from three-point land. At what point in this game did you know it would be a special day?
When I woke up this morning, Mom's cooking. It's Mother's Day, so I know she's here. She's in the stands. I love her, and I thank God for her.
Congratulations. Enjoy the win, Jet. Dirk, congratulations to you as well. How much more meaningful is this sweep knowing that it came against the 2-time defending champs?
Well, it was great, to get through this series. Obviously, they're a very good team. They're the defending champs. And big key was those 2 games on the road. We came in, stole game 1, and really backed it up with a great performance in game 2, and that was really the key.
How does this win help erase some memories of some disappointments in past playoffs?
Yeah, we've been struggling a little bit. We went to the finals that 1 year. Since then, we had a couple of early exits, but I think this team is as deep and as good as any team I've been on here in the Mavericks, so we're trying to go for it.
You've certainly got some time to look ahead to the next series, but how do you avoid that hangover with such an emotional sweep of the Lakers?
Well, we got some time now to sit back, and especially Jason Kidd is obviously a little older, so he got some time to rest, and whoever's going to win, obviously 2 great teams are still playing in the Western Conference, so whoever this is, we're going to be ready whenever it starts.
Congrats on a great series. Mike and Hubie?
Yeah, in other words, you guys knock each other out. Have a good 6-7 game series, huh? Good for Dirk Nowitzki, future Hall of Famer who has carried this team through some tougher times. Will carry him to the Western Finals. Jason Terry led the bench. The bench scored 81. The Lakers scored 84. We'll crown a new champion in the NBA, and we'll be back after this.